I was born on October 19th, 1996. I am told I was born on October 19th, 1996, but I don't remember. No one remembers their birth, but some people claim to remember past lives. And some people have even claimed to remember details of past lives that they should not have knowledge of. And yet, the details that remember are then proven to be true. How do you remember a past life which goes further back than your birth, but you don't remember your birth? How does that work? And then, if you can remember a past life but not your birth, how does memory work? Right? Is it something that happens? Is memory something that only happens physically inside the brain? Or is memory happening elsewhere as well? Is there a way for memory to live without the brain? Well, this kind of already happens, right? With technology. We can record, we can take pictures, videos, and that way we don't have to remember. And it's a sort of storage outside of the brain, right? We save it on our devices and we can forget about it, but it's saved there in memory on another device. Does the phone experience memory then? Or is it just a storage place? If you take a picture, save it on your phone, you forget about it. Maybe years go by and you haven't seen the picture. You've forgotten the picture. It's still stored on the phone. You go look at it. Once you look at it again, do you remember, or are you experiencing it for the first time? How does memory work? But yeah, the devices can sort of be like memory, right? We even use the word memory itself oftentimes to talk about how we store things in our devices. So we do have memory outside of the mind, of the brain, right? You know, it's like those cases when people have amnesia, right? Sometimes people have amnesia and they forget things. And then sometimes people who have amnesia gain their memory back. Now, how does that work? How do you lose your memory inside your own brain and then somehow find it once again inside your own brain? How does that work? Right? And there's so many layers there that I just don't understand. I don't understand how it is you do remember. Right? I think I've read or I've heard that the memory isn't like one part of the brain, right? It's like all the parts of the brain are working together to have memory, right? Which, okay, that's weird, but then it doesn't make sense that what does it mean to lose your memory then? Are like the neurons throughout the brain that created that memory, they're not firing together in the same way, so you can't Why wouldn't if it's just the different parts firing together at the same? Why can't you get them to fire again at the same way? And why can't we make a conscious effort? Right, that's so weird. That connection between the mind and the brain. We can when something is like at the edge of your memory, if you think hard enough, you're like, oh, I remember now, right? So you can. That's so weird. You can get your memory back through effort, but not physical effort, mental effort. Your consciousness has a physical effect on the brain for it to then fire the memory you were looking for. So is consciousness itself also physical? If it's not physical, how can something not physical interact with something physical? So anyways, I was born on that day. When would my first memory be? Now I have impressions of memories, if that makes sense. See, I'm told I was born in Colombia, but I don't remember. And I'm told that my family and I lived in an apartment, same apartment building as my grandparents. And I'm told that my brother and I would often go from our apartment to our grandparents' apartment and knock on the door. Now, I moved to the US from Colombia when I was 2 years old. I don't have any memories of having lived those first 2 years in Colombia. And it's really unfortunate because I have memories of almost immediately being in the US, which is annoying that I had from the very beginning of our life in the US, but I don't have memories of Colombia. I wish I did. But I have impressions of memory every time. I don't remember going to my grandparents' door as a toddler. But every time I was told that, I had the impression of almost having that memory. It's like I could almost remember that, but never quite. But then sometimes I think maybe I've just been told so many times that was something that happened in my life, and I'm trying to remember it so often that that's what creates the impression, and not that I actually have any impression of the memory. And it's hard to tell which it is. How would I know? How can anyone even know what the difference would be of that? But my earliest memory then is that when we moved to the US, we lived at my aunt's house. Now, I don't have a ton of memories of living in my aunt's house. I was still between 2 or 3 years of age, so it's not like I could remember, but I do remember some. I do have flashes of memory, not just impressions. I remember that in that house, I tried coffee for the first time. It was by accident. There was a mug on the kitchen table. Nobody was around, and I thought it was chocolate. After I tried the chocolate, I found it disgusting. I didn't like it at all. I was quickly informed that it wasn't chocolate, it was coffee. I was like, oh, that's what coffee tastes like. Even at such a young age, you do hear about coffee, but I didn't like it. I always chalked that up to being the reason why, to this day, I don't like coffee. And I think it's the bitterness. I've never liked bitter food or drinks. It's not my thing. But I was always curious by the supposed effect of giving you energy. I've always been very low energy or something like that. I don't know. And now as an adult, I've been curious about the effect that coffee would have on my energy levels. And now it's been a couple of times since I've tried coffee. The first time I had 2 cups of coffee and it had no effect. And then a few weeks or a couple months later after that, I tried coffee again. Again, it had no effect, which I found very strange. I know most people drink coffee and they say it wakes them up. It doesn't seem to have any effect on me. I then looked it up, and apparently this is something that happens sometimes. Some people just don't or aren't affected by it. Kind of like, apparently this happens to some weed smokers too. You know, most people who smoke weed, they'll get high, they'll feel something. But apparently every now and then, some people who smoke weed and they won't feel anything. Or if they eat edibles or things like that, you know. I don't know. I guess some people's bodies kind of don't metabolize these things, so it doesn't really work. I've been curious to try with other drinks, maybe like a Red Bull or Monster, but I've had sips of those drinks before in the past, and I didn't like the taste of them either, so I haven't really done it. So I don't know, and they're also not very healthy. I try to only drink water. It's a practice I've been doing since I was about 15, 16, something like that. No, it's not like, recovering alcoholics who like never have a drink again. I do drink other drinks once in the blue moon, but for the most part, I only drink water. And it's something that makes you feel good once you do it. If not physically, at least, mentally, emotionally, you feel like you're making a healthy decision. And it makes you feel a little bit disciplined with yourself. I also learned when I first, gave up all other drinks, how addictive they are. Because it was like a month after I started drinking, I was craving juice and soda so much. I never felt more like a drug addict in my life. I wanted to drink something sweet so bad. And it was really hard that first month to only drink water. It's funny how like anything can be addictive. Juice can be addictive, because it wasn't even so much the soda. Because even when I did drink other drinks, soda was never the most popular choice. But juice, I used to drink the Capri Suns. Oh my God, I was so addicted to that. So it's juice, man. How can you get addicted to juice? I was addicted to juice. It's crazy. But that's what I learned. You can be addicted to juice. You can be addicted to absolutely anything. So I kicked that habit. But fortunately, it wasn't a habit where like I had to go cold turkey. Like I said, I can have juice every now and then or a soda every now and then. But most of the time, okay. And when I say most of the time, I want to be clear. Literally, if I have the option to drink water, I will drink water. And including with my meals, I'll only drink soda or juice if I don't have the option of water. Usually if I go to someone's house or to a restaurant, they run out of water or whatever, and then I'll drink something. And even then, sometimes I just won't drink anything. I'd rather just not drink anything. Another curious thing I learned about or I learned when I gave up all these other drinks and started only drinking water, is that it actually helps food taste better, because when you drink juice or sodas or things like that, you're like, that flavor gets stuck on your mouth, on your tongue, in your mouth. And so when you put in food after that, you don't taste it as much. Whereas with water, it like cleans all the taste off your tongue. And so every bite you have after the sips of water, you feel the full flavor of food. You know, I've always found it annoying that people say water tastes bad. There's some people who, like, that's why they make flavored water, because people think about, like, water's the most refreshing thing in the world. Like, even when I did drink other drinks, I always thought water was tasty. Water was never not tasty to me. Water has always been delicious. Cold water is amazing. Obviously, warm water, disgusting. But fresh cold water is incredible. This one time, I was with my friends, and we went to the store, and we bought some food and drinks. They bought, supposedly for me, which, okay, it was a nice gesture, but I thought it was just so obviously silly and wrong. They thought, okay, Brian only drinks water. We don't want to drink water, but Brian only drinks water. So they bought a 2-liter of flavored water with gas. Is that not just soda? How is that not just soda? Is that not like Sprite? Like, if it's flavored water and has gas, how is that water? It's not water. I didn't drink it. They were like, oh man, we bought this specifically for you. And I was like, felt bad because they tried to do a nice gesture for me, but it was also, come on, that's not water. Right? That's just not water. Also, I've never liked water with gas, you know? I don't like sparkling water. I think it tastes gross. So there was also that. But even so, you know, had they bought sparkling water, I would have been like, okay, even if I don't like it, I'm going to drink because it was a nice gesture and that. But now you're also adding flavor. That's just soda, man. You know, I like water, regular water, how it is naturally formed. That is what we all think about when we say water. I really want somebody here to agree with me that flavored water with gas isn't water. It should be illegal to market that as water, but okay. That's just soda. And as far as sodas go, my favorite is Sprite. I think Sprite's delicious. But there's something incredible about Coca-Cola with ice. Coca-Cola on its own, whatever. Coca-Cola with ice, and this doesn't happen with any other sodas. Coca-Cola with ice. Oh my God. You know, I've never been too much of a drinker, but I do know that, you know, a lot of people, hot summer, they drink a beer and they find it so refreshing. I've never find any alcohol refreshing. It doesn't hydrate. I don't particularly like the taste. Never found it refreshing. But I think Coca-Cola with ice is so refreshing. I think that's what they must feel when they're drinking beer. It's the way I feel when I drink Coca-Cola with ice. Again, I don't do it often because I try to only drink water. But wow, is it so good? And you just want more because it tastes so refreshing. You know, it's not like it's different than, like, for example, when I was like I said before, I was addicted to the Capri Sun juices. Like, looking back, it was very obviously the sugar in there that I was addicted to. Sweet tasting sugar. But that's not the case with Coca-Cola with ice, because this won't happen with just Coca-Cola, which has more concentrated sugar than Coca-Cola with ice, because as the ice melts, I lose, right? It's the refreshingness of the Coca-Cola with ice. And like I said, for some reason, it's only with Coca-Cola. It doesn't hit quite the same Sprite with ice or Pepsi with ice or 7-Up or Mountain Dew with ice. Coca-Cola with ice. Incredible. I'm sure everybody already knows, but whatever. So we lived with my aunt and her family, and I remember drinking the coffee. I have some vague memories of what the house looks like. And I remember playing with my brothers and my cousin in the house. And that's my first memory of life. That's what I can verify with my own memory of life. Everything before that, I am told it happened that way. I have no reason to doubt it happened that way. You know, I've been told by multiple sources the same stories, so I'm sure it's true. But it's funny how you know things, right? You know things not because you experience them. Most things we know is because we've been told. We've been told by people we believe. Right? Like that's the whole flat earth thing, right? That's why in theory, what they're trying to do makes sense, okay? In theory, what they're trying to do is say, okay, we've all been told the world is a round sphere, it's a globe. But how do we know? Just because we've been told by these people we all trust? You know, that's not bad line of thinking. And then the next step is they try to see if this is true. You know, they do experiments. They try to come up with other explanations for why the things we observe around the world are the way it is, other than it being a globe. And up to that, I applaud them. But then, no matter what evidence they're faced, and this is where the problems comes in, no matter what evidence they're faced, no matter what they experience, they continue to choose to believe that the world is flat. And you know, that in there lies the problem with flat earthers and with absolutely everybody else. It's good that you want to verify things for yourself. That is fine, and that is great. Don't have a belief and then try to find evidence that fits it. Find the evidence and then come to a conclusion, right? And if you do happen to already have a belief before it's been verified, because that's what you've always been taught, because that's what you were always told, then find the evidence that disproves it. And that's how you can deal with your own bias, right? I don't know. We'll go with the flat earthers again. You've been told your whole life that the earth is round. So then go and find evidence that disproves that. And if you find that you cannot find conclusive evidence that disproves that, then it is true. If you've started with the idea that the earth is flat, then find evidence that the earth is round. And if you find evidence that the earth is round, then accept that the earth is round. If you honestly, diligently try to find evidence that the earth is round and you cannot, then accept that the earth is flat. Now, in my case, I've just taken for granted that the earth is round. Why? Not that I wouldn't like to do the experiments that supposedly prove the earth is round, but because I see absolutely no reason why anybody would ever lie about the earth being round? What benefit would absolutely anybody gain from the earth being round over being flat? I don't know. I've never seen an argument for that. Maybe there is one. I just haven't seen it. Basically, what I'm saying is I have no reason to doubt that. Now, can I prove the earth is round? Maybe I can, but have I done it? No. So the question is then, do I know that the earth is round? I think the answer would have to be no. I would have to say I believe the earth is round, right? I can't for certainty say the earth is round, but it goes deeper than that too, right? Because you can't know anything for certain. At some level, everything is based off belief, right? Like the movie Matrix, right? Like the Matrix is that the people live a world that feels real and that they experience and they register 100% real, but it's actually completely false. How could we possibly know if that is not happening to us now, right? Like the simulation theory, right? Like this has been very popular in recent years, right? We wouldn't know if we were in a simulation. We don't know. If we don't know if we're in a simulation, then we don't know if the earth is round, because the earth doesn't actually exist. It's only in the simulation. It's a simulation, right? So at some deeper level, we all just believe the earth is round or that the earth is flat. We could probably get more specific and say, if we live in a simulation, in some sort of simulation, then within that simulation, the earth is round, right? But nobody ever speaks that way, right? I think everybody speaks in a way of certainty. And I think partly this is due to ease. It's just easier to say, I know the earth is round, than to say, I know that if whether we live in simulation or not, the likelihood is that the earth is round. It's just a bunch more words. But there is a negative effect to this, and that is that when we speak with so much certainty, this stops being a shortcut and it starts actually being the way we think. We think and act and behave with too much certainty. You know? And again, we can go with the earth as an example of this having negative consequences. At one point, Western society thought the earth was center of the universe. And people held on vigorously to that belief, even as it was being proven wrong. And imagine if those people had not let the fact that the earth is not the center of the universe come to light, how different our world would be. Right? Our understanding of the universe and of ourselves and our place in it.